decision-making across all sectors of Liberia. Under Center's National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program funded by the government and people of Sweden through the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency, or SIDA, the radio program serves as an engagement, coordination, and advocacy platform that rallies citizens and other stakeholder support for the fight against corruption and bad governance. As part of this program, Center has established the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center, known as ILA. Wow. So we encourage our citizens to take advantage. There are different means. This center is just a medical center. You can come over so that we can interact out. Legal advice we provide. You need access to information, we can help you out. Whatever thing we can help you do, we can help you. We are willing to do that. Five zero zero 6,050, or you can call 00956. So the leadership and General Secretary, Reverend Dr. Samuel Reeves and Reverend Christopher Wleh Toe the First. They are today on the show and will be discussing efforts being applied by the church, meaning the Council of Churches, to protect the country's peace and promote the issue about integrity and moral values across the country. And we want to talk about trending national issues. So we are expecting Dr. Reeves. He's on his way to studio. Currently in studio is the General Secretary, Reverend Christopher Wleh Toe the First. Reverend, welcome to studio.
Well, thank you very much.
How are you doing? How's the LCC?
I'm fine by the grace of God this morning. Thank you for His mercy and His grace. As it relates to the LCC also is doing fine. And as you may be aware, the LCC transition for the first 4 years of the executive leadership in May, which is our constitutional month. And like the Reeves was elected as the president, being the second vice president at the council at that time, representing the Baptist Convention, was the second vice president. The Reverend is still new at the Liberia Baptist Mission by virtue of the fact that the Reeves became the president, transition and Lutheran churches to move in the ascendancy clause.
Okay. We'll come to the ascendancy clause to talk about that, but we just wanted to do the intro and then we'll come back to what we go into detail. So thank you so much, Mary. So we go to the next segment of our program, which is little things that matter. On the little things that matter, we'll quickly speak to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Liberia. Your Excellency, good morning. Good morning to the peace-loving people of Liberia. Good morning, Your Excellency. We hope that you are doing well and moving about with the country's business and the Liberian people's business. That's why it's usually said of Capitol Hill. We are doing the Liberian people's business. So, Your Excellency, thank you so much for the leadership thus far. But we just want to, raise concern as usual about a few things. Your Excellency, we are seriously concerned about your perpetual silence on national issues, especially regarding transparency and accountability. Mr. President, you in the midst of allegations of rampant corruption, human rights abuses, and violations, including but not limited to unexplained deaths, disregard, close officials and confidants, and the list goes on and on. Well, Excellency, you have just anything regarding those things, except recently when you were compelled by the international community when you made the statement. Your Excellency, we said, and we still maintain that this is not a good sign for our country, that the leader of the country will just perpetually remain silent on key national issues and not speak to those things. I mean, it leaves the country into panic. It leaves the people to wonder what's going on. Your Excellency, we call on you like you did at that time, or when you were compelled to do that. It is seriously a good thing that you need to do when things happen. You come up and tell the people what measures have been taken to address those things. But when it remains like that, Your Excellency, it is not a good sign. We call on you to kindly do the needful by, promptly or being proactive in addressing some of these things when they come about or before they happen. So thank you. That's why we want to, just because we said we want to be brief, so we just want to stop it right there and then speak to the lawmakers. We ask them again to do the needful by passing laws that will be in the interest of the people of Liberia. It is seriously harmful to pass bad laws. When people are in authority and they pass bad laws and they pass laws to protect themselves, they will forget that they will not remain in those positions forever. They may one day leave the position. Laws like the traffic law that you pass to give you the right to use opposite lane. Right now, some of those people who passed the law, they are currently out of office and they've been victimized by the laws that they pass. So we need to do things that will always protect the vast majority of the people and not few minority, and not protect a few group of people and the rest of the people be prey to the action or our action and inactions. So we call on our lawmakers to do the needful and pass good laws that will protect the interests of the people. Quickly to young people of Liberia, on the elections. You need to rethink, young people of Liberia, you need to rethink. We are going to elections 2023. You need to rethink and reposition yourself and redefine yourselves. Know who you are, identify your true potentials, and stop being used by these politicians to cause chaos as instruments of violence, as instruments of chaos in the country. You are not only good for violence. You are good to produce good things for our country, to contribute to the welfare, to contribute to the growth and development of our country, and not to always be used as instruments of violence. You need to rethink. As we go to elections, you need to think, look at, try to identify who you are, just anything, stand for something, and you will not fall for just anything. We ensure that you have, from whatever little background you're coming from, whatever thing you do it with integrity, do it with believe that it is possible. You are not there to be instruments of violence. So we just want to stop it here. And like we said, we'll always talk to the young people. We'll always conscientize the young people because they are the ones who are perpetrators. They are used to perpetrate violence, and they are the same people who are victimized by these same type of violence. The politicians will take their families and carry them away, and you and your family will suffer the consequence of what they do. So ensure that you protect the peace and democracy of our country by ensuring that you do the right thing. Do not subject yourself to these politicians to use you, and you call them your so-called godfather. You call them the ones that you believe in. The only person you should believe in is the country, and Liberia is the only country, the only thing that we should uphold and push it very hard. If we believe in Liberia and we uphold, we want to protect Liberia, we will not do anything that will cause us to go back into chaos, to slip into chaos. You need to think and redefine who you are so that we can make Liberia a better place. Thank you so much. That's what we want to talk to you about today. Let's take a very short break. When we come back, we go over to our next. All right, thank you for being there, and thanks for joining us. If you just joining us, the program you are in tune to is called Integrity Watch. It is a 1-hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It is aired every Wednesday on Truth 96.1 FM, and the repeat comes on Sunday from 9 to 10 p.m. So my name is Sam Zota. I'm the Media and Communications Officer at the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. You are viewing online, the man who is doing that to make sure that our visibility goes beyond the studio. Us on Integrity TV, wherever you are. And wherever you are, we want to say welcome to you. But which part of the world you are, and you are viewing us and following us live, welcome to you from Malawi, from Kenya, from Zimbabwe, from wherever you are. My colleagues are there, so I'm calling those countries. I mean, I know my colleague Gondway is currently following us. I know he's going to be following us. So welcome, and let's have this discussion together. Like we said, the guest in studio today is, and we are expecting Dr. Reeves to join us whatever point or time of the way. But in studio right now is the General Secretary of the Liberia Council of Churches, Reverend Christopher Wleh Toe the First. So he just laid the basis and was talking about the ascendancy clause of the Liberia Council of Churches. So let's join him so that he can just end his statement so that we go ahead.
Thank you very much, Sam. And just to conclude the ascendancy clause I was talking about, it runs from the second vice president to the first vice president and to the presidency. Okay. And so it gives the whole ideology of learning and following the procedure and the processes of governance in the Liberia Council of Churches, so that when people come to the plate of the presidency, they do not come, naive. They come with informed mind and with experience. And so that's in the ascendancy on the leadership.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's go straight to our discussion for today. Let's just lay the basis of how the Liberia Council of Churches has contributed to the peace that we enjoy today. After in doing our conflict, what role was what role did the Council of Churches play? And maybe then we'll come now to know, then the audience will know what you did, and you will know what are you doing now. What did the Council of Churches do to bring Liberia to where we are today?
Okay, talking from 1982, when we had the bloody coup in 1980. If most of you can remember, some of our young people were not born at that time. But the pastor, the Reverend Dr. Wleh Toe Jr. was killed, was assassinated in the executive mansion in his residence. And the military came into power, and things went apart. And there was not a council of churches. It was the um,
Okay, we go into elections, and you should be playing the role, like you said, voters education, trying to educate the public about what to look out for, how to vote, and all of that. But you're not only going to be working with the people, you're going to be working with diverse political actors,
Yes.
including the
The
government,
political parties.
opposition, and all of those
All of
who
them.
are going to be acting
Yeah.
in the electoral process. You are now here. You think I really wanted that we to be here so that we
Okay.
can. How comfortable do you think the others who've been in the political space with that Reeves going to feel what we think?
Oh, thank you very much. That's a good statement you just good question you asked. And I like what you said, a former politician.
Okay.
You see, because in the Council of Churches setting, you cannot be active in um, political activities at the level of political governance. I'm not talking on the level of political, of politics in the church. Because in the church, we have our own politics. But at the level of political government, country politics, you cannot be active there. And then you be at the level of the Council of Churches.
Okay.
No, it cannot happen. Even at our membership level, except for in the what I do know about the Protestant churches, we call the mainland churches. You don't, as a bishop or archbishop in the Catholic Church, you'll be a bishop. Before you become a bishop, you cannot be in any political party. That is clear. So to elect you to be a bishop, that means the church has to be clear with your position.
Okay.
So for Dr. Reeves to be elected as president of the Baptist Convention, and there were 4 in that race. There were 4. So, and the Baptist Compact, in the Baptist Compact, when you talk about politics, it's very strong on the Baptist Compact. So for him to have succeeded and win an election at the Baptist Convention as the president of the Baptist Convention, and he is associating what people say that he is associating, as a politician, then it's a complete, it's complete saying things. He may be saying things that people look at as being political, but being a part of the political party is another thing.
Okay.
So, like Dr. Reeves said, he divorced himself right after the elections. Other than ran as opposition against the Unity Party. And then after the elections, because he asked for sabbatical at his church, after elections, the church brought him back. Okay. So by bringing him back, that means you were off. You were off the hook from that political party. Then to come to the Baptist Convention, that means you're completely out of the hook of that political arrangement. To come to the Liberia Council of Churches, we also did our own assessment before we could even reach to this level. That means you are completely out of the hook. So we cannot judge you by your past to say it because yesterday you have gone to school, you are an educated man, and we say because you're partner cutter, we can make you finance minister. Okay. No, we can't do that to you. It will be unfair. Okay. But if you continue to be a partner cutter, and at the same time you want to be a finance minister, then we say no. You got to choose one.
Okay, Wleh Toe. So let's we'll ask for you to give the perspective of the Liberia Council of Churches or the Church of Liberia on the issue about governance in Liberia, especially with regards we focus on transparency, accountability, respect for the rule of law. What's the perspective? What do you think? What's the view of the Council of Churches currently now?
Okay. The issue of transparency, accountability has been an old-age problem in this country.
Okay.
And government has transitioned and has left burdens with other governments to carry in terms of accountability. And what we have not seen previous government doing, and even the present government trying to make sure to do, is to deal with the issue of impunity.
Okay.
Because the problem we have is an old age problem. People inherited a lot of corruption, issues in this country, a lot of accountability issues.
Okay.
They have inherited it. But how do you deal with it? Because
so
Liberia,
the current government inherited a lot of corruption issues. Okay.
Corruption issues.
All right.
It is clear.
All right.
We cannot divulge that.
Yeah.
Okay. Even the educational aspect, President Saliu said that the education is a mess. She did not correct it.
Okay.
This current government inherited a mess around education. They try to see how they can be able to fix it, but how you will fix it is the kind of method that you put into place. What kind of player will you bring around? One of the key players that you need to bring around in fixing this whole issues around in this country is the religious community.
Because most of the institutions or learning institutions are owned either by the church or by Christian organizations,
or the mosques, or the Muslim group and all of that. Okay. So you have hospitals, you have church, you have schools, both university, you have primary.
So you're a very key player.
Key player. Okay. So you cannot leave the church out if you want to address these things. And the church cannot leave the government out if the church want to address those things. Because come what may, at the political level, at the political governance level at the United Nations, it is not the church that will go and speak.
It is the government.
It is the government. So the church voice must be within the government voice. So when our president speaks, he speaks for us as a country at the United Nations.
Sure.
So when you take a message to the United Nations, that message should include your country message that you give it. So for the church, our voice is within the voice of the World Council of Churches. So that council was funded also after the World War II. And so that assembly will be held in Germany this year from the 28th to the 8th of September, 29th to August to 8th of September. And we'll be bringing over 1 million persons.
So give the perspective of the church on especially the fight against corruption. So, what do you think?
Yeah, so we have started, we had some discussion. We invited even the finance minister, Minister Toe. He was one of our speakers, the Deputy Minister for Fiscal Affairs, he was there. We had a consultation on corruption, looking at the issue of corruption, looking at the issue of how we address some of this issue. There was a good debate at that forum. And that's one part. The other part that has to do with the church involvement into the whole process is campaigning for the TRC, looking at the whole issue of economic and criminal accountability. This is a process that the Liberian government and international government spend millions of dollars on. Let us go to this TRC report. The implementation component is important. What we think it is not important for us to implement now, we can pause it. But for us to not make a attempt on implementing those things that are needed for implementation, then it's like we're trying to put things on
the church position is to establish the war economic crime
code. I'm talking about, it's not an issue of war and economic crime code. We need, the first thing is that Liberian fought war. There's a recommendation in the TRC report that talk about criminal accountability, that talk about economic accountability. So when it comes there where the Liberian people will decide and say, okay, on criminal accountability, we need this instrument.
What do you need as a church?
We need to deal with impunity. We need to deal with impunity. And it has to go through a judicial process.
Okay.
So if it would be a national court that would deal with that, we need a national court. Okay. And it will be people that will be vetted and people who will be will be people of, with integrity.
Mm-hmm.
I like this kind of program. People of integrity that are not tainted, because we don't want to bring people to deal with the whole issue of impunity, and they're here also in the cookie jar.
Like the people who passing law to deal with accountability, they themselves are not accountable.
Thank you.
Let's go to your own view. I mean, when I say you, I'm talking about the Council of Churches and the church. What's your view on the dissolution of the LACC, the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, and we will end on the recent violence? I saw the press release of the Council of Churches, you calling for justice and all of that. Is that all?
You see the violence?
From July 26 violence. So the dissolution of the LACC and July 26.
Yeah, let's start with July 26. Let us start with July 26. Okay. It's an Independence Day.
Okay.
And so I think the Independence Day violence, you heard we call on the government to include key stakeholders. We as a church, we should be the shock absorber. We should be the balance, I would call it I know there's a denominator in math or whatever.
No, I think the shock absorber.
Yeah, we're trying to stabilize things. So we don't want to be a part of an investigation. We want to be able to observe when the investigation go on, and be able to, when the presentation, other people there. The other people that are there, they also represent the church. So my members are there. So we don't need to be there. But we can be able to, when the results come up.
You can fix situation when you are within most time.
No. What I'm saying, the issue is that the president of the Council of Churches, if you take him to put him on a panel to investigate.
It may not be him in particular.
No, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. Our members can be there.
Okay.
So if you are Sam Zota, we recommend you say, okay, go there. But don't expect Crystal or Dr. Reeves or Bishop Choir to be on the committee. No. The church can be represented at the low level. People from the different churches, they can go there. They can be a part of the process and they will represent us. So they can be able to give an opinion in terms of how the process went on, to observe how the process, whether it was free, fair, transparent, and everything like that.
Okay.
So that's it. So for us, we still stand. We want to make sure that this issue is dealt with. And as I was listening to you when you were speaking to the president, I mean, it's very key. And sometimes, it's, and I want you to know that to run a country is not easy. It's the people, your lieutenants, that should be on top of things.
Okay. And
be able to give you the information for you to be able to speak. Okay. The president will just get out and go and speak. Okay. So if people are not doing their job the way they're supposed to do their job, the president will be late. And so they're supposed to do their job to make sure that the president, job is done.
So when you are not doing your job, what would Dr. Reeves do?
It will not make Dr. Reeves active.
So what he has the power to start you?
Yes. If they with him they confine, for example, let me just give you an example. The July 26th incident took place. Mm-hmm. And so, he was on a flight. He was on a flight coming. And so while on the flight, he communicated with me. Because he was on a flight, he could communicate on the flight with his phone. So he communicated with me, okay, what can we do? XYZ, okay. I said, okay, we're trying to get some information before we come up with a statement. Okay, do that and see how we can be able to come up with a statement. And so we were working. So at the time he dropped down, we were able to do a statement.
So good. I mean, good. That's the Council of Churches. So what I'm asking about, you talked about, you were trying to lay the basis of the position of the Council of Churches, calling for inclusion and all of that, inclusiveness in the committees to investigate. Yes, that has been established. So let's look at the dissolution, LACC. The institution established to deal with corruption in Liberia has been dissolved. Now we should be, in fact, the process is ongoing to set up a committee to do vetting and to have a new LACC. What's the view of the Council of Churches?
You're saying, if you say the LACC has been dissolved, are you talking about the staffing?
The entire LACC
Yeah,
dissolved.
No, if you say
the new LACC Act.
or new LACC Act or LACC that has been rebranded, right?
It's not rebranding because if you rebrand something, the structure remains, and then you only changing maybe something, but what it is now, the entire structure is removing, and we're going to bring new structure in place. All of the commissioners will be removed. As of the passage of the law, they are then you just they're only acting until the new group of officers be appointed by the president. So it means that that particular structure and that they currently they are five. They should be five, but the new law is calling for seven. So it means that you don't have the same structure in place. So that's what I'm asking about. But let's because time is actually being is fast spent. Maybe you want to chip in on that.
No. I think that is
So-
that is
so
okay
the-
because these thing as I said to you, the church. So we have people of the church that are also writing the laws and other things. So we'll continue with engagement.
Okay. So the program you are listening to is called Integrated Watch. It's a 1 hour radio program brought to you by Central. So we want to allow you to participate on the program by calling 07701 75162. 07701 75162. That's the number to call to be live on the program Integrated Watch. So we are live on Truth 96.1 FM, and we are going also live on Integrity TV, on Facebook and YouTube. So you can follow us if you are there. So the number to call 077 01756162. That's the number to call to be live on the program Integrity Watch. Today we have in studio this General Secretary of the Liberia Council of Churches, and we're talking a wide range of governance and accountability issues, including the role of the church in promoting and protecting our country's peace and democracy. What do you think? Is the church still relevant to our political landscape? Is the church has the church now become a place where of social politicians? What's your view? You can call. You can call and participate on the program 07701756162. That's the number to call to be live on the program.
Strong politician.
You see that?
Church are strong politician. All the people in the government as well church.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, the number to call 07701756162. 07701756162. That's the number to call to be live on the program Integrity Watch. We are live on Q 96.1 FM, and we have this call on the line. Good morning. Yep. Your name and where are you calling? Okay, Tio, thank you. The points are well noted. We have another caller on this line. Good morning. Your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning. This is
Peterson, let's hear you.
Thank you very much. First of all, let me thank you for the better calling studio.
Thank you.
The Reverend.
Thank you.
For his testimony. When I got a concern, what about you can read what you'll find that in Bible days, meaning that in Jesus' days, we saw the disciples when they concentrated on building the church. The apostles were concentrating on how to expand the word of God to all part of the world and those areas that people reach. Today, if you check our churches today, if you look at the history of our churches today, most of the pastors, the bishops, they are engaged into politics. They are not there helping to solve problems, but some of them are not there, every one of them. Some of them are there to cause problems in government and other institutions. So I'm hoping that our running, the Church of Council, the Church of Council, or the Church of Council would take a different dimension, and they will play a neutral role in making sure that the government, whatever field is in the government, that you speak of the ills in government.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Let's take the last caller. Thank you. I think your points are well noted. We should speak on ills in government. Thank you. We have another caller line. Your last caller. Let's hear you quickly.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Peter Bula. I'm calling from district number 9.
Where?
Kafugo district.
Okay, go ahead. Montserrado. That's why we're asking for. Let's hear you.
Okay, yeah. I listened to the discussion, but you know, the LCC issue. If it's about changing the law, what is of the entire board?
Okay.
Or the entire LCC. So there's a while some all who are political tingle.
Okay.
There's a bigger issue there. If only if you wanted to change the law to make the law strong, what is of the entire board?
All right, thank you. Thank you.
I want people say that we something and only church. To some extent, some religious leaders, people don't have.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. We actually out of time, so we just wanted to leave it there. Thank you. Thank you, Reverend. Let's get you quickly your party.
Thank you very much, and thanks for all the call-up. The guys should and I would want the government to do the responsibility. Don't see the judge right. Let's sit down and discuss the issue of the country. So I just say to you, I think it doesn't matter. We're trying to organize this consultation on the issue of human rights. Jesus advises about it. Who get information? Because who get the information? The information to come from. Yeah, and we, surprisingly, the minister agreed, and then later on she turned down, the invitation to go and speak tomorrow. So this is not good for our democracy. You although you are a minister, but you have deputies. If you cannot go, let your deputies or your assistants represent
deputies for you.
Yeah.
That's the voice of Reverend Christopher Wleh Toe. He is the General Secretary of the Liberia Council of Churches, and we've been talking about governance and accountability issues and the role of the church as we go forward to 2023. So my name is Sam Zota. I'm the Media and Communications Officer at the Center for Transparency, and the program is Integrity Watch. My colleague, Mark Bondau, has been behind the camera, making sure our visibility goes beyond the studio. Join us next Wednesday for another edition of the program. Better still, Sunday, 9 to 10 is a repeat. Join us if you can. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.